Gina's daughter was diagnosed with trichotillomania in first grade. We met with Gina as she shares what the condition is, what her life looked like as a parent and caretaker, and what she hopes the future holds for others navigating the same path. What is trichotillomania?
It is when people pull or have an obsessive compulsion to remove hair or pull hair from their body, whether it is eyelashes, eyebrows, hair, or some people also consider picking at parts of their skin. It's called trichotillomania.
How did you learn about trichotillomania?
My youngest daughter's first grade teacher came to me and said, "Are you aware that your daughter is pulling her eyelashes?" And I said, "No, I wasn't." So we went home that day and I looked at her very closely, and I noticed that she had sections of her eyelashes that were not present. And then I had noticed certain characteristics where she had to do repetitive things. And when we took her to the therapist, she had mentioned the word trichotillomania to me.
How did you feel when she was diagnosed?
First of all, I didn't know what the heck it was. Being in the healthcare profession, we like to think we know a lot about things. However, this was something that there was not a lot of research or information on the internet. So I felt scared, and I'll be honest, I felt embarrassed. And so I had just a multitude of feelings, but I didn't know where to start and how to process them. And so I, in turn, had frustration with my daughter. And what I know now, after being around this entity for 20 years, is that when they first develop it, they can't talk about it, and they don't want to talk about it because they themselves can't understand why they are pulling out their hair, which leads to people noticing and staring at them.
What kind of resources have been helpful in dealing with trichotillomania?
There's, Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and people are more open with things. So you gain a different perspective from those people. I know that when I first started in some of these groups, there was maybe 2,000 or 3,000 members. And I see now, here we are 10, 15 years later, and it's 50,000 or 100,000. This is a place where people talk about every single thing that they've tried to stop pulling their hair, whether it's NAC or cognitive behavioral therapy or anti-anxiety meds, or they put fake fingernails on to try to stop, or there's so many things that people try. And so it's a good resource if you're trying to figure out, how do I approach my child? When my child comes to me, how do I listen? What can I do to try to help them? And the one thing I know now that I wished I would have known is that to not address it, to let them come to you and to speak to you about it when they're comfortable. Because the courage it takes for someone to come forward to say, "I pull my hair, I can't control it, I need help stopping it," it requires a lot of courage. It's much easier for my child to approach me now when she's ready than me saying, "Why are you pulling your hair? Why are you doing this?" That didn't get me anywhere except to build more shame and mistrust.
What do you hope to see in the future?
I wish we did more research on this. Let's get some of these companies to figure out, how do we fix this? And I think that is the goal of what we've done in healthcare, is we've made people's health and their entire life better by helping with diabetes and providing cardiac meds and open heart treatment. But somebody like me has to start talking about it first, because nobody knows about people that pull their hair.